good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are, all over in the side of this world, or rather, I could say, continent of Africa. This is Livnad. We are back again. And you know us, we are created to change the continent and to also celebrate all the achievements of our people here in this Africa continent. Today, I'm visited, if I may say. I think I'm visited by the lady who has a lot to tell us, who has a lot to say to us, and her name is Lisebo Mokoena. Lisebo Mokoena has a lot. I think her journey is so wide. Her journey has a lot, and she's gonna tell us a lot. Inspiring words, inspiring messages, inspiring stories. I believe today we're going to be very inspired. My name is Bongi Gladness. As you know, I'm always here with you on Clifnot TV Narspara. My show's name is Fearless Talk. We are going to be very, very, very fearless today. Disable, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Can't complain.
I'm wonderful myself. I'm wonderful myself. You know, you kind of made me to be a little bit intimidated a bit there. That's why I'm kind of biting my tongue. I don't know why, but it's because of your story. You know, your story is so inspiring and it's so touching. It's so emotional. There's a lot about it. So I'm not even sure what is it I'm gonna hear more. But then I know it's all about your book. I saw a little bit of some few things on it, but I want you to be the one telling the people out there exactly the content of a story and a bit of a pieces, like, and the glimpse of it from the mouth of the writer herself.
Yes.
Tell us more about the letter to my past, right?
Yes, it's a letter to my past. Okay. This is how it looks.
Nice cover. Great.
Yes, I'm matching with it.
Okay.
Yes, it's a letter to my past. Basically, it's a book that pushes me to go back and raise the dead, if you have to put it like that.
Okay.
Go back and dig into my past, which was not so pleasant and which was kind of very painful. But writing the book was a journey for me into healing, because sometimes we go into counseling, but you are counseled by people who may not understand what you're going through. They may sympathize with you and say, "Oh, we understand, it shall be okay." But in a true sense of the word, they do not understand. And you sit there and you look at them and you say, but these people don't understand. And you come out of therapy still not properly healed, still having these demons that are following you, you know? So writing this book for me was finally killing the dead, to say, I'm bearing you. But I'm not burying you that you may not be seen. I'm burying you and putting a tombstone to say, here you lie. You were there, but you are no longer there. But still, you are not forgotten, but you cannot hurt me anymore. So I wrote this book as a journey into healing, but I found myself having to heal other people in the process, because the things that I went through growing up and as a woman are things that a lot of women in South Africa, in Africa, that are going through, some in silence. And therefore, for me, in writing the book, I was saying, we go through these things, but we don't have to be silent. We should be there for one another as women. We should embrace one another, and we should say, it shall be okay, because I know it shall be okay, because I'm okay.
Yeah.
That was the point of writing the book. But how it started, it's really funny, actually, because I was a teenage mom. I had my daughter when I was 20. I'm 42 this year. My daughter is 22. She's turning 23 now in March, and I just turned 42. So I was a teenage mom. Then when I was 27, she was 7 years old. I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. And I was told to write something, to write a memory for my child, should I, you know?
Okay.
should I die. She's
Mm-hmm.
7. So you need to write something for her to remember you by. So that's how the book started. I took a journey into my past. I said, I need to face my demons. I need to face the dead. I need to go and raise them so that I can finally bury them where they're supposed to be buried. Because we have the past that we think are buried, but they're not buried where they're supposed to be buried. Therefore, they keep haunting us. You
Mm.
know, people who believe in Africanism, they say if somebody dies somewhere in a foreign land and is not buried accordingly, their spirit does not rest. So that's what happens with our past. If we don't bury it properly, it does not rest. It keeps haunting us, needing, you know, to be buried where it should be buried. So I had to go back and do that for the sake of my child, to say, this was your mother. This is what she overcame. The woman that, in case you may grow up not knowing her, this is the memory that I live with you to read. But then it became something big. It became a healing process for me. And I think as well, in my journey with the cancer, it helped me, focus on it than focusing on the illness itself. And as a result, I was not consumed by fear of being sick and dying. Because my mind got overwhelmed with writing this book and making a memory for my child. So this is how the book came about.
But if you were to go back to the past, besides writing the letter to your past, maybe when you're writing the letter to a letter to your past, it was you trying to say I'm erasing all of this. But then if you were to say a few things that happened in your past, like for someone who's wondering what was in there, what was happening, what would you say to someone that actually wants to take you back?
You know what is in in the book? Um, it's it's a 12-year-old, because I was turning 13 in December. It's a 12-year-old that got raped in her own home. You know, that's where I feel my journey begins, where I'm moving from a child into teenagehood, and I'm being defiled, and my dreams and my hopes and the way that I view life and the way that I view men and the way that I view people begin to change in that age where I'm supposed to be trying to figure life. you know when you becoming a teenager is the age where you're confused about a lot of things,
Finding
as
yourself.
it
Yeah.
is trying to find yourself, trying to understand what the world is about, what goes around into the world, only to realize, for me, in the moment of that confusion, then here comes this thing where I find myself being raped by my own uncle in my own home. you know so it's a situation that is, that is breaking for a young girl growing up, and it's something that is still happening.
Yeah.
That, it's been happening in our time, but it was not so out there that we could easily talk about it. That's why I had to go back and dig into it, because at that time I could not talk about it. In 1993, I could not talk about being raped by my mother's cousin in my own home. It seemed like something that people would be like, yo, this child, what are you talking about? You
Mm-hmm.
know, we could not talk about it. We had to die with it. And you can imagine a 13-year-old having to keep this thing inside, to say
For a long
somebody.
time. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So that's where I think the journey into my life begins. But though the book begins from when I was born, the events, there are a lot of things that happened, um coming to
To
when
where
I
you
was
were,
born.
yeah, at that time when okay.
Yes, yes.
So,
But
but
I believe the most important part of the book begins that time when I was 12.
when you were 12. So like, but then the other episodes of where you were younger, if you still remember. What is it that you can say triggers as well to say, I had to actually mention this one. I had to, point out this one as well. What is that episode?
You know, the other things that triggers when I was small is the fact that um I had to be raised by my grandparents. My mom got married, and for me, I felt like she left me with my grandparents. So I felt like she chose a man over me, you
Okay.
know, because her family situation wasn't really ideal. It wasn't really a good environment to be in. And I felt if she can escape it, why is she leaving me in this
Yeah,
environment, you know? So for a long time, I think until I was 16, I hated my mom.
I can
I hated
imagine.
my mom. Yes. I
Imagine.
felt like she chose a man over me and
Mm,
my little brother at the time, because she got married when my little brother was just a year old.
you lie.
I'm not.
Wow.
She
Wow.
made she made my stepfather. Within 6 months, they were married. But the good part is they're still
That's
married. And
right. Wow. At least
raising and
there's a good story out of it. Even though when you are a child, you are very naive. You think what you think because you want attention and you want also the love. Anyway, we do understand because we all always want love. And I know because even me, my mother was never there. I was raised with my grandmother and I was raised everywhere. I know
mm,
that kind of environment where you find yourself to be thinking that I was abandoned.
yes,
Yeah, my
yes.
mother was never there. My mother, when she was still a teenager as well when she had me. So she had to go to school, and now she had to leave me behind with my grandmother. But on top of that, I had to find myself living with different people, and I didn't know even why. It's even worse when you don't know the reason because back in the years they will not even give you the reason when something
No,
is happening.
no,
You
you're a
won't even you
child.
won't even ask. You were not allowed to ask. So I can actually imagine what you're trying to say, I feel like I was abandoned. I feel like she was not there. She was never there because
So
that's
you
what it was before. Because you never had a right to ask anything.
so you can imagine in that situation where you feel abandoned when something like what happened happens, then you like,
There we go. Yeah, because she's not there. You'll be saying that. I can
yes.
imagine. But then moving forward to I believe there's also nice stories with it. But then you can actually tell us all the bad ones until we get to the end because it's always good to have if there's a bad beginning, we need the good ending
The
after all.
good ending is,
Yeah. So what are other
after
episodes in your
after
in your
all,
in your book that you actually want people to realize life, like how life is and how life can get?
yes, you see, like I'm saying, in Africa, as a whole, women are very marginalized. More often than not, women are regarded as toys for men. If I have to put it like that, we are regarded as the weakest link, whereby men can do with us as they please. And with my book, I was raped 3 times, by the way.
Okay.
um Therefore, it I feel like I connect with a lot of women that have been raped by their fathers, by their own brothers, by a lot of family members, by strangers. But more often you find that we get raped by people that know us than the strangers, which
Mhm.
is the most painful thing. It's yeah, it happens a lot that we get raped by people that we do not know, but more often it's people that we know, people that are close to us, people that we trusted, people that are supposed to be protecting us, but they are the ones that are hating us, they are the ones that are abusing us, they are the ones that are taking advantage of us because they know our weaknesses. Because when I was raped by my mom's cousin, for an example, he knew how much I loved my grandmother and how much I adored her. And one thing he said was, "You tell somebody I killed your grandmother." So you find yourself being a child trying to protect somebody that you love. They look at what is your weakest link, and they use that against you. Like when I was raped the second time, I was raped by my cousin, my own cousin.
On
I
on on that note, I just need us to go to a short break. I want the part of a cousin now. I want the part of a cousin. After the break, we're definitely going to talk about the cousin's rape. It's not a nice thing. It's not a good thing, actually. But then I like the fact that you had to deal with it somehow. But let's go to the short break and we'll come back to the cousin rape and we'll know more. And I hope people will be inspired. We are Clear Not TV in Diaspora and we are still here with Lisebo Mokoena, who is telling us a lot about her journey in the letter to the past that she has written. But we'll know more after this. Let's just go to the short break.
Clevenard in Diaspora Television is an internet online TV service. What sets us apart is a unique combination of hit African content, first and exclusive international free movies, series, musics, news, events, documentaries, tourism, teleshopping shows, youth TV programs, and live interviews. Clevenard Diaspora Television is available throughout sub-Saharan Africa and to the diaspora markets worldwide. Take your entertainment with you wherever you go. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, laptop, smart TV, depending on your device. Watch free movies with Clevenard Movies Television. Stop searching for free movies websites and watch Clevenard Movies Television. Watch your favorite African shows anywhere at any time. Don't forget to check out our top 5 TV channels created to get you informed. TV1, Clevenard in Diaspora Television. TV2, Clevenard Youth Television. TV3, Clevenard Movies Television. TV4, Clevenard Teleshopping Television. TV5, Clevenard Tourism Television. To start watching, sign up at www.clevenard.com and follow the easy steps. Once you're done, log into the Clevenard website or app on your device, click on any one of our 5 TV channels, and hit play. We will be very satisfied and happy to welcome you to our team as one of our new business partners. Contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com.
I'm hearing the go on the other side. Welcome back. Welcome back. You are still with me, Bongi Gladness, on Clevenard TV in Diaspora. We are created to change Africa and also to bring Africa together, especially Africans who are achieving a lot in their lives and who are having different stories to tell. And I'm still with Lisebo Mokoena. Ma'am, you were before the break. You were about to tell us about the cousin who also raped you. So what
Yes.
is that you were actually telling us? Can you continue as people are signing up? Please tell a friend to tell a friend that we are with Lisebo Mokoena, who's telling us a lot about her story, who is taking us through her journey to the book of A Letter to My Past. Yes.
Yes, I was on the story of a cousin. Like I was saying before we went to an ad break, that often we get raped by people or we get hurt by people that we know that are close to us, that knows our weakness. You know, I'm very outspoken. I'm talkative. I'm an extrovert. I'm out there. So my cousin is this introvert, this
Hmm.
child that everybody
Quiet
knows
one.
that is the
Mm.
innocent one, the quiet one, the
Mm.
obedient one. So
Mm.
I'm known to be this wild
One.
one.
Mm.
Therefore, after he raped me, it was an issue of who are they gonna believe? Are
Mm.
they gonna believe me or you? And
Mm.
you think, yo, I'm such a troublemaker. Nobody's gonna believe me anyway.
Mm.
Believe me against this person, So I found myself in a position where I again had to keep quiet,
Mm.
again had to be silent because who would believe me?
You are
You know,
pumping. You are forward. You are the forward one.
yes, I was the forward one. I was out there,
Mm.
outspoken, like
Yes.
extrovert. Sometimes what people do not understand is sometimes when kids misbehave, there's sometimes a story behind the
Behind
misbehavior.
that, yeah, true, true.
You know, for me, I wanted to be the center of attention because deep inside I was feeling um
In
I
need.
was low. I
Yeah.
was in need of attention, in need of love. There was a hole that I was trying to fill, that I
Mm,
tried all these other avenues to fill it, and I wanted attention. I wanted somebody to see me, to notice me. Therefore,
I
I
understand.
went out of my way to do all these stupid and crazy things
Yeah.
just so I would get attention, because deep inside I was hurting, deep inside I was broken, and nobody was paying attention. That's why I take it upon myself. Like I do a lot of counseling, especially for teenagers and stuff. I work with a lot of teens. I always tell people, before you judge this child, let's try and find
Find out why, what are they crying for? What are they crying
yes,
about? Yeah.
because I once was that teenager that got hurt, and as a result, I misbehaved because I tried to get attention. I tried for somebody to notice that I'm hurting. I need help. You know,
Mm.
yeah. So I was that child. Therefore, when he raped me, it was a situation of who's gonna believe you?
Because you're always naughty. You are the naughty one. We always reprimand you. You are the reprimanded one every
Yes,
time, every second. So how will they believe when and they'll be even saying you are silly, you are naughty. Maybe you will even be kicked out. You never know. So you had to just believe that, you know what, no one will believe me. Think that nobody will believe you. And how
yeah.
many are those out there? How many are those like you who would think that nobody will believe them? Who would think that, no, I'm the bad one? Obviously,
Yes, yes.
even today, maybe there are still those who are actually thinking that, no, I'm not worth it. I'm not, who am I to be believed when I say anything?
Exactly. I deal with a lot of teens that are going through the same thing, that are saying, but my parents are always called to the school. My grandparents are always called to the school. So why would they believe that I'm innocent this time? Why would they believe that I didn't do it? Why would they believe that somebody actually hurt me? You know, which is what a lot of young women are going through.
How,
That's
yeah,
why
they can't
a,
tell.
a, a lot of young women that are coming from good families, that are standing on the streets prostituting themselves because they feel worthless. You have taken my body by force.
Everything is
So what
gone. So why
do I
should
have
I?
to lose?
Yeah, they
What
don't see any use of a future. Yeah,
yes,
there's no value in anything around them, or around anything around, like in the environment they're in. They just feel like they should just throw themselves because they're not worth it.
which is actually what I did. Remember when we began, I said I became a teenage mom, which is what I did. I threw myself at a man because I just wanted to be loved. I wanted attention, and I was like, why not? I can just give it to him. It has
Yeah.
already been taken anyway, so what's the point? You know.
Mm, I can imagine.
Next thing, I'm pregnant and I'm doing my first year of school. I'm 19 years old.
Mm.
There I am going to be a mother. And and another person to think about. But the funny part with the story is that, you know, I'm grateful for being a teenage mom. I'm grateful for my daughter because had I not had her, I don't know where I would be. Because having her, I had to sit down and do self introspection and say, if there's something wrong with me, if I'm this unvaluable person, if I'm this thing that men can use, why
Mm.
would God trust me with such a precious
You
gift?
thing, yeah. You just see that now she's so pretty, and you're like, wow. But look at
And I'm
this.
like, wow, this came out of me. Therefore, there must be something good out of me. There must be something good about me.
Yeah.
Therefore, I need to change my life and do something good, not just for me, but for this life. If I don't succeed, if I don't make it in life, it means this child does not succeed. This child does not make it in life. This child is going to end up staying with grandparents because I cannot afford to raise her. And takes to make sure that this child does not go through what I went through. And that gave me that edge, that thing that I need to fight. I need to
And more
give it my
strength.
all.
Yeah.
I have to find strength from wherever. I don't know where, but I have to go seeking for it. Even if I have to crawl on my way to finding the strength, but I will find the strength for the sake of this child.
Yeah. Wow. But then how has it been in the whole journey? As you said, this was the second time and you still have a third time. But then what were you telling yourself when all of this is happening?
When all of this is happening, um, sometimes in life, especially when you are young, you try to block things. So I try to block it out and pretend it never happened. And how do I do that? Is like I was saying, is by way of just being a joker, making fun of people, that way you never give yourself time to process this
Think
thing,
about all
to
of those
think
things.
about it.
Okay.
I never gave myself time to think about it. I always try to block it, but something will always trigger it. Maybe a boy, because I became a tomboy, by the way, you know, so that I don't look like a girl. But I had long hair. My parents would not let me cut my hair. So I had this long, long hair. And I will always wear a cap and tie it inside a cap so that it doesn't show, wear jeans, walk like a boy, play soccer, hang with the boys, so that I wouldn't feel that I'm a girl, so that boys wouldn't even notice me, you know.
Mm.
So I tried all those things so that I wouldn't have to think about it. But something will always trigger something, A
Mm.
boy will kick me wrongly, will do this, and I will get so aggressive. I will fight. I used to carry uh, a screwdriver with me because I used to wear pants to school. I didn't wear a skirt. So I would wear long socks and I would put a screwdriver inside my
Hmm.
sock just to say, try me and see,
Protection. Oh my goodness.
and see, you know. So you can see that as much as I try to avoid it, it still followed me,
It had to
you
follow.
know.
Yeah.
That's why when you begin, I said sometimes when you try to bury something where it does not belong, it will always haunt you until you go back, you retrieve
Deal with
it,
it.
and
Mm.
go and bury it where it's supposed to be buried.
Mm. But then the following, the third, which is the third rape, happened when you now had a child.
No, 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 no. Before I had a child, actually, this the very same year that my cousin raped me. The third one happened. I was on my way from school, actually. Because of my behavior, I had been put on detention. So I was coming from detention. So it was winter. In winter, the
Yeah,
sun
it's
sets
dark.
early.
Yeah.
Yes. So I had to walk from school. I was attending a school called Unitas, which was far from where the taxi rank was. I had to walk and pass some field before I can get into town so that I can get to where the taxi rank was. And and yeah,
That's when you met whoever that
that's where I
did
made
the
a
deed.
mistake.
Yeah.
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 So it is sad because that one actually broke me the most because it when it happened, it was in 1996. When it happened, it was during the time in during 1996, 95, 97. The girls were being raped and killed. This
Oh,
tendency of
around the time.
girls
Okay.
being and killed was around that time.
Oh,
So when they took me to this field somewhere, all I could think about was they're gonna kill me.
killed
This is
me.
the end.
Oh
No,
my goodness.
this is the end. I remember the only prayer that I made that day was, God, just spare my life. You know, when you're trying to pray our Father, the Lord's Prayer, and the words cannot come.
Mm,
You can't even make up the words, and all I could say was, God, just spare my life. And for some reason, my life was spared that day. For
yeah.
some reason, my life was spared that day. But I remember after the incident, I was like, why was my life spared? I wish I could die.
Mm.
Wish I could die because the pain was just
Still, yeah,
unbearable.
too much. Yeah, it was still unbearable at the time. So you couldn't actually say, but at least my life, was spared. You just had to
Yeah.
think about the episode as well. But and the fact that it was not the first time, the fact that it was
Yeah.
now the third time.
And for the fact that this time it was two people changing on me, you
Oh,
know.
goodness.
So
Mm.
you think something must be wrong with me.
Mm.
Something must be wrong with me. I must be smelling something that is
Maybe,
telling men
yeah.
that, you
Mm.
know, yes, I was at that point. But this incident is the incident that actually got me closer with my mom. That's when I saw just how much my mom loved me. That's when I could actually go open and talk about other incidents.
Mm.
That's when I could get help, you know.
Okay.
That's yeah, my journey into healing began after this incident.
So on that note, let's just go to another short break. We'll come back to another part of your book where you tell us even other rest things, even taking us to the journey of the cancer as well. So let's just go to a short break and we'll hear all about even your journey in the cancer when you were diagnosed. Let's go to the short break. We are still here and you're still with me, Bongi Gladness, on Cleveland TV Diaspora. We are here with Lisebo Mokoena. She's still telling us her journey of life and all the episodes and all the things that happen into her life. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Still sign up so that you can hear more of these stories. But right now, let's go to a short break.
In the 21st century's technological advancement, we all seek opportunities to move and network with the emerging space. Introducing Clevenard blog and event posting. Do you think you have some interesting materials, good content, articles, and stories? Then feel free to publish them on Clevenard blog and events page, just as team of our writers are doing presently. By blogging on Clevenard's blogs and events, you benefit from our reach and network. There are constant stream of people visiting our social platform, and we have figured out just how to distribute our contents. This means you can basically skip the line and get access to a big audience from day one. Furthermore, we can help you get in touch with important people for projects with possibilities of translating your content into other languages and republishing them on Clevenard. This helps preserve and protect your content from getting lost. What's more, you also get to be part of our team with access to our network and lots of exclusives, behind the scenes information. And of course, you get full credit for everything you do, which brings you popularity and make extra income. Sign up now on clevenard.com and start blogging to your advantage. Please see the tutorial video on how to blog or post events on Clevenard Blogs and Events. For more information, contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com. Clevenard, your blogs, your identity. In the 21st century.
Again, my name is Bongi Latnes on Clipnot TV Diaspora. We are speaking or talking or chatting with Lisebo Mokoena, who's telling us a lot about her journey. We heard already the first half where she's talking about her rape. But right now, we are now to that part when she got diagnosed with cancer. How was it, disabled? We are back from break and we want to know the part of cancer. How did it all start? And how did you know that something is wrong with you?
You know, it's funny. Um, I didn't know I was having heavy bleeding. I wasn't a heavy bleeder. So I didn't understand what was going on. So I decided to go to a doctor. You know, the GPs will tell you hormonal imbalance, whatnot, whatnot. But now I get pills, but nothing is happening. This thing continues and continues until I decided, you know what? Let me just go to a gynae and find out. And then I go to a gynae and the gynae said, you know, let's do pap smear. And then we do pap smear, and that's when they were like, no, 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 something is up. And then the guy referred me to an oncologist, and then I got there. They did some tests. That's when I was diagnosed that I actually had cancer.
And when was that? How old were you? Were you already married or what is happening?
I was not married. My daughter was 7. I was 27, not yet married. My career just starting to bloom. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when you feel life is beginning, my life was beginning to make sense. Everything was falling into place. You know, at that moment when
I imagine, yeah.
you're like, oh, finally. And then, boom, a
This,
bomb explodes in my face. And at that time, I was staying with my daughter. It was just the two of us staying in a townhouse. And yeah, we were staying in the police quarters at that time. It was a flat where it was just me and my daughter. And
mm,
I had to now deal with the issue of cancer. But fortunately, at that time, I was actually dating a very wonderful man who's my husband now.
wow, okay. Great.
Yes, and he helped me through the journey. He helped me through the journey. He was staying in Bloemfontein. I was staying in Ondidansres. It was far. It's 1.5 hour drive, but he would make sure that every time when I went to chemo, he was there, and he made sure that he helped me. You know, every weekend he was there for me. He would wash my clothes. He would wash my vomit. He would wash my underwears. He would do all those things just to
Wow.
make sure that I was okay. You know,
Yeah.
he became that man that says, "Not all men are bad."
Yeah. Hey, yeah.
And,
Not all men
and
are
when
bad.
I was feeling men are just evil, men are dogs,
Hmm.
and became a man that taught me to say, "Not all men are bad."
And
There are
he
men
actually
evil.
he came as a healing as well. Like
Yes,
into everything that happened, actually. There's always a way that God will actually like make you like think differently. Look, that's what I'm
yes,
thinking that was what was happening with you, where God had to show you another different side of his beings. That you know what,
yes,
it's not everybody that you think that will be bad to you or it's bad. Sometimes, you'll find other people who are like this. That's why everything had to be the way it was. And for you to actually heal in the process, because there was not going to be healing if there was no difference.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. You know, I always lean into Romans 8:28 that in all things works for good for
Good.
those that loves the Lord and are called according to his purpose. You know, I look into my life and I'm like, everything was for good. Whether it was bad or it was good, everything was for my good, because I look at my life now and how I'm able to impact into other people's lives, how I'm able to help teenagers that are going through things that I went through, how I'm able to be a humanitarian. I think I wouldn't be what I am, doing the things that I am, unselfishly
Mhm.
so, if I had not gone through everything that I went through. So everything, be it good or be it bad, because the verse does not say all good things works for the good. It says all things. So whether it be good, whether it be bad,
Yeah.
all things works for the good, because in a whole, everything that has happened has made me what I am today, has helped me become the woman that I am today, the woman that is confident enough to sit and talk and say, I went through this without shedding a tear. You know, I used to cry so much every time, even as I wrote the book. Like I said, it was a healing process for me, because I cried as I wrote the
So you're
book. I
right.
remember I
Yeah.
would I would write certain paragraphs, and you have to go back and think how they smelled, how it felt when he was
Mhm.
on top of you, how he was breathing. You know, I will go back into counseling because it will traumatize me,
Hey.
those things. And I will leave the book for 6 months, and then come back and go back to it, write other ones, cry, go through all that
Mm.
process. It was a healing process for me. I've shed so much tears, but I had to shed those tears so that I can be able to, when I sit in front of somebody, to say it's gonna be okay. I don't cry anymore. It doesn't mean it
Mm.
doesn't hurt, but it means I'm able to say, here's my shoulder, come and lean on me. Can you see I'm not crying? It's because I have
Yeah.
cried enough and I'm okay now, which is what is gonna happen with you
Yeah,
in
you'll
due.
be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine. So in terms of the counseling, what made you to go the journey? Like I mean, not really that journey, that path of starting to counsel people.
You know, it started as when I put some snippets on my Facebook page, and people will be like, um, will inbox me and say, I went through that thing. I'm not able to cope. How are you able to write about this thing when I can't even talk about it? You know, that's how it all began, when people started inboxing me,
Yeah.
asking me questions, seeking advice. Others will just say, "Can I call you? I just want to cry," you know.
Mm.
And that's when I realized it
People need
means
you. Yeah.
people need me. I can help somebody out there. So that's when I decided, why not?
Yeah. But then do you have like that thing of wanting to maybe write another book, or is this your only book, or do you still have other stories to tell? Maybe if you can actually now a little bit take us to your marriage, like when it happened, were you now feeling whole?
I was not feeling whole. My marriage was not easy at all because my husband had to be a scapegoat. He had to suffer for what other people has caused me. You know, he had to be punished for the pain that other people had caused me. He had to endure all that wrath, that anger. I took it all out on him
Mm.
because, like I said, we always hate the people that love us the most. We
Mhm.
always hate those that are close to us. So he was the one that was near. He was the male that was nearer to me, that I could tell, you can go
Do
F
whatever you
off.
want or whatever. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, yeah. So it wasn't easy, for the fact that he enjoyed and stayed, and it's I don't know how to
Yeah,
to
it's a
describe
mystery,
it.
right? It's amazing.
I don't
I
know
can
how to describe
imagine,
it.
but I can
And for
imagine.
that, I went through cancer 3 times, and he went through cancer with me. He helped me. He forced me into treatment. When the third time I was like, I'm done. I'm not taking this thing. I would rather die. He was like, you are not done.
Mm.
You are not leaving us. You are not done. You are not dying. You gotta take this treatment whether you like it or not, even if I have to carry you to the to the clinic myself.
Nah, I can
And
imagine.
it
But
it is easy.
but right now, would you say the cancer it's like out? Like, are you free from it?
I'm free from it, but as they say, they will say you are on remission because you are in the period where you are free from it, but you're still getting checked, getting some sort of.
Jobs and all
So
that, yeah.
yes. So I'm on remission, but I feel okay. I feel alive. I feel hopeful. I'm one person who lives on the positive.
Yeah, no, it's
Who
important.
lives on the positive. I always tell even the cancer patients I deal with, I love kids. So I've adopted the cancer ward in the hospital for kids. So when I go there, I always tell the parents and the kids that it's all in here.
Mind, yeah. Hey?
Yeah. Your healing is in here. If you tell yourself you're gonna die, then you're gonna die. But
Mm,
if you tell yourself, I ain't dying, not now, you're
yeah,
not gonna die. But
yeah.
even if you die, you don't die painfully and hopelessly.
Wow. Well, you know what? It was great to have you here. I don't know if maybe there's another part that you think that you've left out that you feel like people need to hear this one. Maybe if you have that one from your book that you think like, definitely people must know that there's a bit of this or a glimpse of this. You can say it now just before we close, but then right now, for now, I can say I have heard, and I believe that whatever that I've heard is enough to inspire me to also feel like, what, people need help out there. Maybe people like you, they still need more inspiration, they still need more healing. And they've heard today that it can happen. It's not easy, but then it can happen. You can heal. So I don't know if maybe there's another part where you can actually tell them out there to maybe motivate them further before we close.
Yeah, I want to say, I think all my book is trying to say, as a letter to my past, is to say it doesn't matter how painful your past is. Don't allow the past to keep you prisoner. Don't allow the past to determine who you are. What has happened does not make you that thing.
Mm.
Just because I was raped, it does not mean I'm a victim. I always tell people I'm not a victim, I'm an overcomer because I overcame the rape. I'm
Mhm.
not even a survivor, I'm an overcomer. I
Wow.
overcame, and I sit here proudly and boldly to say that did not break me. Do not allow your past to hold you hostage by keep holding on to it.
Wow.
If you have to go and dig it out and go and bury it where it's supposed to be buried, do it, but bury it, put a tombstone on it and say, you were there, you came, you have passed. I'm
You
okay
did.
now.
I'm not with you anymore. I'm on the other side now, and I forgot about you. You out.
Yeah.
So people need really such motivations, and I believe that you will continue. And may God give you strength, and may you actually continue to help other people out there who would actually want someone like you to push them out of it, and also to help them bury all the things that happened, because it's not easy. Some other people can't even bury them because they don't even know how to. But then if they could have someone like you who would actually take them through and make them see that it can be done, I believe that that will actually change a whole lot of lives, and people will actually come to the term of accepting and also moving on. And on that note, I just want to say, wow, it was good to have you here. And all the best with your book. May everything happen your way, the way you want, but then put God first, and everything obviously will happen. Firstly, it will happen His way before your way, and all is well. And we are at Live Not TV in diaspora. My name is Bongi Tletnes, and me with my show Fearless, as I was with Lisebo Mokoena. I know even her, she wants to say goodbye to you. It's a goodbye until next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.